As if competing forms of traffic weren't bad enough, there's just a ton of other types of components in our environment that are going to slam your network, make it not work, or make it not work in a horrible, inconsistent way. Here's the classic one. Your wireless network works great, but whenever people are trying to surf it, say during the lunch hour or during break time, you find that it's not working as well as it should. It's dropping packets, it's reacting real slow. But then when people get back to work, suddenly the problems are not there as much. Well, maybe it's this culprit right here, your good old microwave oven. Microwaves operate across a range, and although our microwave ovens are shielded to prevent the really dangerous radiation from affecting us, the non-dangerous radiation, or at least we hope, of what operates at the 2.4 and 5 gigahertz range, guess what, gang? It can overlap with our Wi-Fi signal and create problems. We also can have other things like motion detectors that are emitting a signal in order to detect motion and bouncing that, kind of a sonar type of effect. That is in that same range. Then you've got various different devices that really are competition, but they're on dedicated networks operating at the same range. We mentioned the older cordless phones that use the earlier standard, wireless video cameras, wireless headphones, wireless game controllers. If it's wireless, it probably has a great chance of conflicting with your wireless network. Now, again, your access points are usually pretty smart. They're going to try and adjust, but the challenge is they land on a particular channel, right, thinking everything's fine, and then later something else comes in, not detecting the conflict, and creates a problem. So always be on the lookout for those types of situations. You know, some guy's got wireless headphones that he just got to work with his laptop, only now he says your Wi-Fi stinks. Okay, these can be fun to troubleshoot, right? And by fun, I mean it'll pull your hair out, but that's part of working with wireless. It's not as obvious necessarily as, oh, look, the cable's not connected anymore, right? Or the wires are crossed. Kind of an interesting one to look at is fluorescent lights. And fluorescent lights are a known culprit. The older style lights were notorious for actually causing problems with Ethernet networks, and that had to do with electromagnetic pulses that they emitted, and that would actually affect the signal in the wires. When we look at fluorescent lights in wireless, it's actually a different problem. And technically, because, hey, why not be technical, right? We're talking about a problem not of interference. It's not emitting an interfering signal necessarily, but it is causing reflection. You see, when a fluorescent light is provided electricity, what happens is there are multiple pulses per second, right? Hundreds and hundreds of pulses per second of the fluorescing components, the fluorescing metals essentially that are in a fluorescent light, basically lighting up and kind of polarizing and creating this light force. And then when the electricity is gone, they stop that. So they're changing positions every time that the electricity, which is on an AC current, right, triggers and sends them going. You say, okay, great, so they're pulsing, so their orientation is shifting. This all sounds like physics. I didn't sign up for a physics class. Well, here's the thing, gang. In wireless, we end up touching physics more than once. In this situation, that reflection happening causes signal to sometimes have a pattern that might look like this, sometimes to have a pattern that looks like this or like this. And if I'm an access point and we're working in conjunction with, let's say, a client device, maybe sometimes that signal seems to get through really well. But other times, because of that angle of reflection, that particular aspect of the signal isn't hitting me as well. It's kind of, it's adjacent, it's off to the side, as you can see right here. So that problem can create some strange reduction in signal quality. What ends up happening with wireless networks is that they try and establish a stable baseline. So strangely, your wireless network works better when you work in the dark. Probably not a long-term solution for many of us. Fortunately, these days, when we're talking about these type of bulbs, you may be able to do better with LED bulbs, which don't have that same issue. Or you may move toward, or, it's just something to recognize. You may not be able to stretch your access points as far if you work in a building that has tons of fluorescent lights. It's just going to not allow steady signal to transmit as far because the angle of diffraction goes greater and your issues grow larger.